In cedar dark and iron bound, it waits where silence holds the ground. A box so small, yet steeped in dread, a coffin for the cursed and dead. The lacquered crack, the wax seal torn, awoke the night, it was forlorn. Its whispers stitched the air with frost, a voice from souls long buried lost. The wine within had turned to pitch, the candle's flame began to twitch, a mirror shattered on the wall, yet no one stood in hall or hall. It sings in tongues no man should speak, a lullaby for hearts grow weak. Each time it's open, something stirs, a rustle, breath, the flap of birds. And those who touched its haunted skin have dreamt of ash, of blood, of sin. They wake with bruises none can see, and whispers clinging to their teeth. So leave it closed, let hinges rest, bury it deep beneath the dust. For not all things that knock are kind, and some will never stay confined.
Welcome to Grim Grotto. My name is Dave.
And my name is Julie, and today Dave and I will be discussing Dybbuk boxes and...
Oh, plural.
Oh, I guess plural. Well, a Dybbuk box in general, you know, there are more than one, so boxes, I guess, would be the correct term for it.
Well, I have a question of the week for you, Julie.
Okay.
And this is something that we've talked about recently, and reading into this topic got me thinking, what do you think it is about haunted objects that people want to go seek out? Like, people go on eBay for this stuff. Why do people do it? Like, what's the draw?
You know, I couldn't tell you. Maybe it's like the sense of adventure, the sense of, it's kind of like a roller coaster in a way, where you like that adrenaline from the drop, you know?
Yeah.
So you're kind of hoping that something creepy happens. Or maybe you like the idea of something containing a spirit to where you won't feel lonely. Or perhaps you want to gift it to somebody else. Or maybe you're a paranormal researcher and you hope that something happens so that you could capture it and then show the world that spirits are real and the other side exists. Or maybe you're just curious. You're curious for yourself. Maybe you're a non-believer and you want to see if it's true.
Yeah, I mean, some of those eBay descriptions that I've seen sound pretty scary. They're like 100% certified real demons and stuff. I'm like, okay, like, why would I go and buy this and bring it into my house?
Well, some people, you know, they want to befriend demons, so there's that reasoning. Some people, again, maybe they want to gift it, or I don't know, that's for the thrill. It's all different reasons.
Like Merry Christmas.
Yeah, it could be 101 reasons.
My question, though, is when you buy something on one of those sites, how do you know what you're getting is the real thing? You know what I mean? Like, there's no vetting process. You just have to believe that the person who's selling it is telling you the truth.
Well, I'm pretty sure eBay... Okay, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure I had heard that eBay checks to make sure in a way, like, does verification of some sort. So it'll say, like, eBay certified. How does eBay check it? I'm not 100% sure. Maybe they do, like, a FaceTime, a 24-hour, like, FaceTime of it, and then watch it to see if anything happens. You know, kind of like the Guinness World Records where they needed somebody from their side to watch you do whatever it is and then take a picture. But that could be...
Wait, like have a camera recording it for 24 hours and then somebody actually reviews the footage to see if anything crazy happens?
No, someone sits there.
Oh, sits there.
Yeah, and watches for 24 hours so that you can't edit the footage. I'm not sure. I don't work at eBay, but...
There's some expensive ones, too. I'm like, wow, $1,500 for... I mean, the backstories are intricate, too.
Well, I'm sure that's what it is, too. Like, the backstories probably have a lot to do with it as well. If they know more about whatever spirit may be in that vessel, they can sell it for higher, I guess. But how do we know if it's real or not? I'm not 100% sure. The same with, like, the ones on Etsy and stuff like that. It's difficult to tell. I guess you just have to build that rapport with the seller, read reviews, and then see how it goes. Because people on Etsy who purchase things really do love to review it because Etsy pushes, like, notifications to make you review it.
Oh, so, yeah, they don't stop.
Yeah. So I'm sure people have said, like, stay away from the seller, or no, the seller's genuine, this is my second one, you know. all those different kind of things. So doing your own personal research and maybe reaching out to the seller themselves to see what activity has been happening, or if you could even do like a video call just to kind of stare at it so you can get a vibe for it to see maybe if it's something that resonates with you. So no, I don't think there's a valid way. Yeah,
I think it could be out of curiosity. It could just be the extreme, like, oh, I want this experience of getting something. It's like bragging rights to your friends or something.
Yeah.
Or it could just be, I don't know, just, genuine curiosity into paranormal stuff. Or people like to collect things, like there's the Haunted Museum in Las Vegas, for example, you really want a place. Yes. Which we'll talk about at some point.
Oh, we're going to talk
today,
about it?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know about today. We will find out. And it's just because I don't want to fly anymore.
That's only a 16-hour drive from here. I would do a 16-hour drive to visit that museum, honestly.
What? Who's driving?
I can drive. Your driving terrifies me. Your driving is more scarier than what we'll find in the museum.
But to the topic of Dybbuk Box. So I have heard of this, I don't know what to call it, like this object for a really long time, especially ever since the movie The Possession. That's when it came out. That's what really got me into the boxes and doing like research and whatnot. And then when we were thinking of topics to discuss for today, it was, what are some things that we know of from experiences we may have or knowledge that we may have? And then the Dybbuk Box came out. And I was like, yeah, Dybbuk Box! So
you did a little Dybbuk Box dance.
I did. I was like, ooh. Just because I do think it's a very fascinating thing because it can be used for multiple different kind of areas. But the one that it's most well known as is usually like a wine cabinet, and that's just what like a Dybbuk Box is. It's a wine cabinet that's believed to be haunted by a malicious spirit in Jewish folklore, and the spirit's said to be like trapped in the box until somebody sets it free, whether they purchase the box and then open it, or if they purchase the box and the box like falls and opens. But people who have owned Dybbuk boxes usually say that they experience seeing like strange shadowy figures or hearing noises at night. And what's fascinating to me is that you can Google, I guess you can Google everything, but you can Google how to make a Dybbuk box. So yeah, that's a thing. I didn't know you could Google that. And I have the instructions for you today.
Well, I guess I'm confused on what that means, because a Dybbuk box, from my understanding, and I did some searching into the back history of what a Dybbuk actually is, and a Dybbuk, from my understanding, is really just a spirit in Jewish mythology. It's a spirit that can possess often the living and result in what we would consider as a possession. And it's typically associated with somebody who had passed away, who had unfinished business or died in tragic circumstances. So it's really just a spirit. But then the Dybbuk box supposedly was an object that had contained one of these Dybbuks. So I guess if you were to make one, would you just be making the box and then the Dybbuk would then enter the box? Or I guess I'm curious how that would even work.
Well, I feel like you would have to trap it somehow.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll enter willingly. You could probably put objects in it that would attract it into the box. And then when you have it in the box, lock it and then perhaps seal it in some type of way, whether that's with leather, metal, or soldering it together somehow if it's metal. But yeah, what you were saying for Dybbuks, they are like a deceased individual who refuses to pass on after death. And then I guess they have this thing for females especially, so if like a female purchases them, maybe because it's like in a wine cabinet, and so it looks really nice for the most part, and we're like, oh yeah, let's purchase this and let's open it, and we're a little bit more curious, I'd like to think. But this is how you make a Dybbuk box. And I don't recommend making one. Don't come back for me. Okay?
It's a nice little warning.
This is viewer
there.
Discretion warning. I do not endorse making this. I'm just telling you what
Do not
Google
try
has.
this at home.
Yeah, don't try
Adult
this at
supervision.
home. Yeah, seriously. So for the Dybbuk box, so you're supposed to like gather materials. So find a wooden box that resonates with you in some type of way, and then you want wood burning tools so that you could burn in symbols around it that signify a way to trap a spirit. There's certain words and symbols to use, and then the items that you place are meaningful or believed to attract the spirits. So if you do have history with that spirit that's not passing on, you know what they may or may not like, so then you'll put it, whatever that is, into their box. So let's say it's, I don't know, you had a terrible stepdad and you knew what he liked, so you put some Mountain Dew in the box.
Oh, that sounds very specific.
I got history, man. Yeah. So things that you know that they would like and search out for. Once they are in the box, you seal it. So after you add these items, you would seal the box to securely contain that spirit, that Dybbuk, and then that's all that Google will give you. You have to then read into actual platforms because they're like, we don't legally want to.
Yeah, we cannot tell you how to make one of these.
Right.
We're just implying the supplies that you should gather and the steps you might want to take.
Right, like if you
consider.
are deciding this is the information we can give you. And there is that movie that we had watched that I had referenced to is like The Possession, right? So when they were trying to get it back in, they all gave something of what they held dear to them. So he had like his wedding ring, the daughter had her hair. Mm-hmm. I forgot what the mom gave, but I think it was her watch perhaps. But then they all put it into the box and were able to re-secure the Dybbuk back into it at the end of the movie. And I just always thought it was fascinating because these boxes do hold kind of a time capsule of that individual in a way. So you can kind of learn about them and whatnot through what could be contained within the box itself.
Yes.
And that's where my curiosity hits because I love to learn about people or like history and to see certain objects, like if there were old photos or old jewelry, old notebooks that had some writing in it from the past, just kind of describing their life or a day-to-day. It's always so interesting to me to just find out a little bit about somebody and see what life was like before the life we know.
We should make a time capsule because I feel like anybody reading into our lives of who we are would be highly confused. And then fast forward a couple 100 years, we should just put things in there to mess with people.
Okay. Okay, right. So now we're on the topic of time capsules. We're gonna put like a rock in there.
Yeah.
Maybe like back in our day.
With a cryptic code.
Rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could like draw a symbol on it.
Like pyramids and stuff. Like the all-seeing eye.
Well, no, we have to like do something different because that already exists. And another cool thing about the box is that there is a box that Zach Bagans has. One that had started in Portland. Have you heard of it?
Is that where it started?
So, okay.
Get out of here.
I'm pretty sure the one he has is the one that started in Portland, Oregon. So, I know, right? Here at home base. So, there was this man named Kevin Manis, and you can actually find this on a streaming service. I forgot what streaming service it was, but I had watched it prior to moving here. And when I moved here, and we were talking about it, I don't know, when I was looking up this topic, my memory had recalled, and I was just like, I watched the documentary on this, and I'm pretty sure it ends with Zach taking it and putting it in his museum. So Kevin, he's the owner of like a small antique and furnituring business in Portland, Oregon. I'm not sure if it's still there or not.
We should look it up.
We should. I'm sure you could Google it. But he was the first person to purchase a Dybbuk box in September of 2001. And he got it from an estate sale from this lady who had previously passed away. After he purchased it, he was approached by the woman who passed away's granddaughter, and the granddaughter had told him that her grandmother was part of like the Holocaust, she was a survivor, and the box had immigrated with her to America. Mm-hmm. And that it was referred to as a Dybbuk box. So when he wanted to get this box, the granddaughter kind of was just like, hey, always keep it locked, don't give it to anybody, and gave him weird instructions to never open the box, and was like, there's a Dybbuk inside here. And with it being more so a Jewish folklore, he didn't know what a Dybbuk was. And so upon hearing this, he wanted to return the box because he was like, I actually, he's like, there must be some sentimental value in this in some way. Like, would you want this? Because it's like an heirloom from your grandmother, seeing as she brought it with her when she immigrated here, and she's a Holocaust survivor. Like, there must be a lot of meaningful things within this box that you should keep as the granddaughter. And the granddaughter was like, nope, you bought it. Yeah. You made the deal. And so you can just have it. And then he attempted to be like, I don't even need my money back, just take it, right?
Yeah, I'll pay you to take it back at this point.
And she was like, we don't want it. Keep it. You purchased it. It is now yours. So now that it's his, he had put it in the basement because obviously he's feeling kind of weary about it. Like, he purchased this box with all of these weird, like, warnings from somebody.
So many red flags.
I would have tried to give it to somebody. I would have been like, I don't
you want this cool box?
Yeah. I'd be like, hey, you want this box? It's just $1. Like, $1. What do you have? A penny? Okay, now it's yours. Whatever you have. But he had it in his shop, and he had put it in the basement. So when he put it in the basement, one of his shopkeepers was a female in charge of the shop. And after a half of an hour with him being away, she had called him and was saying that in the basement, she had heard, like, swearing, and there was, like, glass breaking. And she really genuinely thought that there was an intruder that had trapped her inside the store in some type of way because the emergency exits were blocked and everything like that. And then she had attempted to call the police while this was all going on, but when she had tried calling, her phone just died. And that part's kind of like fuzzy because I don't understand how then she ended up calling him, but that is where we're at. So he rushed back to the store to find her just crying and just completely traumatized from the event, technically, because she thought that they were being robbed. And he had seen how all the bulbs were broken out of their sockets, and it was the fluorescent tubes. So you would have had to unscrew those. Those don't just fall out. Those you have to unscrew. And so there it is, but supposedly the worker continued the rest of the day and then never returned. Like, she never came back after that.
I wouldn't either.
He still kept the box. So after the granddaughter's warning, after his shopkeeper saying that all of this happened, and after physically seeing that there was the fluorescent bulbs unscrewed from the light fixtures, broken on the ground, he kept the box. So as he kept it, he decided that he's going to find out what's in the box.
Seems like a logical next step.
Of course, because I don't know why, but he was like,
crack it open.
Yeah. So he was just like, we're going to open the box. So what was in this Dybbuk box? It was a 1928 U.S. wheat penny. Oh,
those are rare. Yeah.
Yeah, he got some money from it. A 1925 U.S. wheat penny, a small lock of blonde hair with a string wrapped around it, a small lock of black and brown hair, also with string around it, and then a granite statue engraved with the word Shalom on it, a dried rosebud, a golden wine cup, and a cast iron candlestick holder with octopus legs. So that was everything that was in the box. And then after doing all of this, fast forward a few months, so this is still within 2001, his mother comes to the shop, and he, as a gift, after hearing from the granddaughter and his shopkeeper that this thing was messed up, he gives it to his mother.
He's like, sure, Mom, here you go. Yeah, I would have put that in a white elephant gift exchange.
What?
Honestly, that's how I would have gotten rid of it.
Oh my god.
Like, surprise. They're like, oh no, a Dybbuk box, I have to get rid of it. Nobody wants to steal it. They're like trying to... Oh, I'm so dark.
I don't think anybody would know it's a Dybbuk box. They'd probably be like, oh, that's cool. And then they keep it. But, so the mom examined the box, right? And then when he, like, walked away because he had to go take a phone call or whatever, he came back, and one of the shop workers, a new shop worker, obviously, was just like, oh, there's something wrong with your mom. So he went and checked on it, and she was unresponsive with tears running down her face. And then she went to the hospital, and supposedly she suffered a severe stroke after opening this box. And then she got partial paralysis and had lost her ability to speak. And after a little back and forth, he couldn't understand her, so he had her, like, spell out the words. And she said that she hated the gift from him. So logical next step is to give it to his sister.
Yeah, go down the line.
Yeah, just go down the line, I guess. I don't understand what this guy's problem is. So then he said that the doors in the box keep opening on their own now. So gets the box closed, gets it open. Then the box now just doesn't want to close, you know? So after giving it to his sister, the sister didn't want it because she said it was like broken. So then he gives it to his brother. And then his brother keeps it for 3 days. And then he returned it because his wife said that it smelled like cat urine.
So my question is, if you're last in line to get the Dybbuk box, are you honored or do you feel insulted? Like, what? I wasn't your first pick to receive this? Or maybe he loves him the most. I don't know.
I don't know, man. But, so everybody said something weird about it. And this man gives it to his girlfriend. And then after 2 days of her having it, she gives it back and told him that he needed to sell it.
Wait, whose girlfriend? Manus?
Manus's girlfriend.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
Yeah. So then he sells the box to a middle-aged couple. 3 days after finally selling this box to somebody outside of his family, they bring it back to his doorstep and leave a note saying, "This has a bad darkness." So this man just keeps getting it.
The vibes are off.
I know. So then there was all of a sudden this supposedly demonic hag had came out and started beating him in his dreams, and he would be waking up with all of these bruises, all of these different marks. And then on a particular night, his sister, his brother, his sister-in-law, they all spent the night at his place, and all 3 of them had had the same demonic dream of this old woman who would come into their dreams and hurt them. They would wake up with bruises where they were hit. So following the night that his siblings and sister-in-law spent the night, he went home and he kept seeing all of these different shadowy figures in his house, and all of these strange occurrences continuously kept happening. Then the smoke alarm kept going off, and then anytime he would investigate it, there'd be no smoke. And then
that's the worst.
His place would reek of cat urine, which, I have a cat, but I have never smelled what cat urine smells like.
I changed the litter box, yeah.
Thank you. Well, I changed it too.
I'm just kidding.
But he finally, after all of this, so this is a year in now, he decides to do research on the box. After searching on the internet, he falls asleep on the computer, is visited by the old hag again. Then when he woke up, he felt something breathing on his neck, and in his house, once again smelled like cat urine. And then he had sat up to a huge shadowy figure moving down the hallway. So now, in 2003, he finally had enough. So he's like, I'm gonna sell it on eBay. And then he had left the following message on the eBay thing, and it said, "I would destroy this thing in a second, except I really don't have any understanding of what I may or may not be dealing with. I'm afraid that if I destroy the cabinet, whatever it is that seems to have come with the cabinet may just stay here with me. I have been told that there are people who shop on eBay that understand these kinds of things and specifically look for these kinds of items. If you are one of these people, please buy this cabinet and do whatever you want with this thing. Help me." And then at that point, I think that's when Zach Bagans purchased it.
Well, from my understanding, it actually ended up with a guy named Jason Haxton, who is a museum director and medical professional. He ended up with the box. I don't know if he bought it directly from eBay, but it somehow ended up with him. And then supposedly he started to have occurrences like bizarre health issues. He got welts all over his body. He noted that electronic devices around him were malfunctioning. And then he also dreamed of these shadowy figures and terrifying visions. But then Zach Bagans, who had become very obsessed with this Dybbuk box because of the folklore behind it and the legends, the online accounts and everything, that he made an offer to Jason to purchase it from him and then brought it to the Haunted Museum where it resides today, which apparently within the museum itself is locked in its own room.
Oh.
And you have to sign a waiver before you view it.
What?
Yes.
Okay, don't you have to sign a waiver in general, though? I mean, he has a whole museum dedicated to haunted objects.
I think so, but I love that it has its own room. But even Zach has claimed that when he's around it, he starts feeling a certain way. And he's noted that he's had nightmares and strange happenings as well. I did hear that Post Malone actually
Toasty?
visited the Haunted Museum and reported an occurrence when I guess Zach was touching the Dybbuk box, and then is it just Post? Is that
Yeah, it's Post. You can call him Posty.
Posties.
People call him Posty.
But supposedly at that moment, he claims after the fact that he started having bizarre experiences. Like, he was involved in a car accident, his old home was burglarized, and his private plane even had to make an emergency landing. So, after the Dybbuk Box, so that...
See, that's why I don't fly.
Yeah. That's why I don't fly my private jet too often.
No, just don't fly. So he got it kind of like transferred through Zach into Post Malone. I don't know what I want. Okay, how about this? If you heard stories like the one just discussed, would you in turn want said box?
Definitely not.
Yeah, I wouldn't want the
Definitely
box. And then also, if everybody around you is telling you that they basically hate the box, why would you keep the box?
I don't know. So the strange thing to me is, did you hear about how Kevin Manis eventually came out and said, like, hey, a lot of this stuff I made up about the backstory?
I did hear that, yeah.
So he straight up said that, but then admitted that after the fact, even after he came out and said, like, some of the story was fabricated, he said that I'm a creative writer, wanted to create this interactive horror, I think he described it as, that strange things happened after the fact. And some people wonder, you know, because he had put so much creative energy into creating the story around it, that those things actually started to manifest and become reality. And so that kind of leads to this whole topic of, have you heard of the Tulpa effect before?
No, I haven't. I might have, but it's called that.
I think I've like heard this term. I think the most common thing that people refer to this as is manifesting something.
Oh, yeah.
But it's basically a force that can be created through group belief or imagination, that if enough people are thinking about something or they're focusing on something with enough energy and emotion, that it can actually come into existence in the real world, kind of like a ghost or spirit or something like that. So it's almost like this collective consciousness type thing, but if we're all using our imagination and thinking the same way that something is real, that it will actually become real. And I've heard that the Slender Man is believed to be something aligned with this,
that would make
where
sense, yeah.
enough people believe in it or think about it, that then people report seeing the Slender Man, which could be due to cultural reasons. We've talked a lot about cultural differences in different parts of the world, and people believe in certain myths and legends and then actually report seeing those cryptids or whatever they are. And I think that there's something to be said for group consciousness or group belief, culture and everything. So I think this could be an example of that, and it's also a fascinating topic that I would love to see if there's other examples out there of things like that.
Yeah, I think that would be great, because I have heard about that topic and the whole theory of if so many people think about it, they bring it to life. So, Dave, that can be our topic next week.
Yeah.
Because I have something to go do. So thank you for joining us this week in the Grotto. Be sure to join us next week as we discuss the
Tulpa effect.
Thank you. And if you would like to join us on Patreon, our Patreon is Grim Grotto. We are also on Instagram at GrimGrotto_. You can also find us on Ko-Fi, where I sell tarot readings, oracle readings, rune readings, and other fun cryptid stickers. And as always, if the grotto is grim, explore within.